Hi, so welcome back to the channel. So here's a fun question. Why do people with ADHD seem to attract criticism like gnats at a barbecue? You don't mean to mess up. You don't want to forget the thing. You're not trying to be late, distracted, overwhelmed, or the human equivalent of this. And yet here we are again. If you've got ADHD, especially if you were diagnosed as an adult, you've probably spent your life getting feedback like, you just need to focus. Stop being lazy. Why are you like this? Fun fact, none of those are helpful and all of them are wrong. Here's the thing. A lot of ADHD struggles aren't visible. You're not failing out of school. You're not running through traffic completely nude. You're just disorganized, forgetful, inconsistent. And people can't see executive dysfunction. They just see the aftermath. The late emails, the missed appointments, the birthday card that arrives 2 weeks too late. So instead of saying, hey, maybe this person's brain works differently, they go, oh, you must be careless. Now, if you're a woman with ADHD, congratulations, you get bonus judgment. Girls with ADHD tend to get missed entirely because hyperactivity in girls looks different. It's daydreaming, perfectionism, being too sensitive, being too much, or not trying hard enough. If you managed to stay afloat through school, jobs, kids, or life in general, people assume that you're fine. So when you finally hit that wall, you forget to pay the bill, you ghost the group chat, you show up at the wrong appointment on the wrong day in the wrong month. People don't say, wow, it seems like you're overwhelmed. They say, what's wrong with you lately? Let's talk about the myth that ADHD is a motivation issue. It's not. It's a regulation issue. It's like having a car that either goes 100 miles an hour or won't start at all, depending on whether the task is interesting, urgent, or being shouted at you by someone holding a deadline like a baseball bat. When you're operating on vibes and adrenaline, people don't see the struggle. They just see inconsistency. Well, you did it yesterday. Why can't you do it today? Gee, I don't know, Karen. Maybe because my dopamine receptors are on a beach holiday without me. This one's fun. If you really cared, you'd remember. If it mattered to you, you'd do it. No. If I really cared, I'd feel horrible about forgetting it, which I do constantly, but I still do it, so your guilt trip is meaningless to me. ADHD doesn't mean that we don't care. It means our brains file priorities like raccoons throwing paperwork up into a ceiling fan. So eventually, all that criticism gets an upgrade. It moves in. You start telling yourself the same things. I'm unreliable. I'm a hot mess. I can't do anything right. It becomes a soundtrack to your life, except you didn't even get to pick the playlist. You just hit repeat on everything that's ever been said to you. And here's the kicker. A lot of people with ADHD become perfectionists because if we're perfect, no one can criticize us, right? But perfectionism is just fear in a lab coat. It looks productive, but it's really panic in disguise. First of all, know this. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're not lazy. And you're not a failure. You've been operating with an invisible disability in a world built for planners, punctuality, and nothing in your inbox. And instead of support, you got judgment, which shockingly didn't help. But awareness, that does help. So start noticing the patterns. Challenge the voice in your head that sounds suspiciously like your old boss, your middle school teacher, or that Karen you saw berating a cashier at the grocery store. Find people who get it. And maybe don't hang around with anyone who's ever said, "You just need to try harder," with a straight face. If this sounds like your life, you're not alone. You're just running ADHD on turbo with your foot glued to the accelerator. Let's normalize being gloriously imperfect, distracted, and still deserving of respect. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please hit like and consider subscribing. Drop a comment below with the most ridiculous thing you've ever been made to feel guilty of. Now, go have a cupcake, you chaotic miracle. See you next time.